everyone. Just a quick episode correction. You Can Dance Studio is located in Hermosa Beach. Hope you enjoy this episode.
So you had fun.
Not really. Well,
No?
yes, I did have fun. Not that kind of fun. I was there with my daughter for a dance event, and she was
I did see a
dancing.
clip
Yeah,
of that.
yeah,
You
yeah.
guys were so lovely. Yay. I'm Pamela Portnoy, and no one's okay. Oh yeah, Anna's busted out the dance moves. Welcome back to No One's Okay. I am back. Today's guest is a professional dancer, a choreographer, an actress, a host, a mom, the owner of You Can Dance Studio in Manhattan Beach, and she was a pro on 11 seasons of Dancing with the
11.
Stars.
Oh my gosh, too much. I need to drink.
Her name is Anna Trebunskaya.
Oh, good one.
I wanted you to applaud me for getting it right because when
Oh.
I've known you for a while, but I was like doing my
Yeah.
due diligence to see what you've been up to, and no one gets your name right ever. And I'm like, my goal is for her
Yes.
to be excited about that.
Yes. No, I
Even
have.
though I feel bad that that's not the case.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it's kind of a long last name. The first name is easier, right? It's Anna.
Anna.
Anna is like Anna. Whatever.
I'm sure you get Anna a lot.
A lot in the United States, yes.
Yeah.
Anna is like the British, right? The British are like Anna.
Uh-huh.
They don't say Anna.
Did anyone comment like inventing it's inventing Anna, or is it inventing Anna?
Anna.
Yeah.
She's Russian.
Yeah.
She's of Russian descent. She's born in Russia, immigrated to Germany.
Did you watch it? Did you like it?
I watched half of it and then I got really frustrated and pissed.
Why?
Why am I investing time into this?
Okay.
Like, I got the idea. She is a messed up person. She's messed up on the head. It's a real story. Why am I keeping fascination with her? I'm basically keeping the fascination going over people's ignorance and a lack of intelligence that they would, and lack of intuition too, which we talked about that in a moment, because we all have intuition. We all had gut feeling. I mean, all of these people must have had a gut feeling that something is slightly off with this person.
That always fascinates me thinking
And it's
about
like,
that.
why are we as a pop culture, as a culture, we are basically giving light to this woman who is a total mess, an absolute fraud, and we are fascinated. Are we fascinated with the fact that she was able to do that, or are we fascinated with our lack of clarity? Like, you know what I mean?
I think that's part
So,
of it, but also
yeah.
I feel like people are always fascinated, and this is kind of sad, but very sad, watching people's downfalls.
Well, it's like Jerry Springer.
Yes.
It's like people are really fascinated with Jerry Springer, and we still are. We're still that. And it's really also kind of interesting because, which is kind of leads to No One's Okay.
No one is okay. And
No
yes,
one is
everything
okay.
leads to no one being okay.
Yeah, right. Because it's like, well, I'm not okay, but look at these people. They're like worse than me, so I'm actually okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There you are.
There we are, inventing Anna. Now, Anna in front of me.
Yeah. But the actress was good. The acting was good.
I want to check it out for the acting.
Most of it.
I'm so excited to talk. There are so many things to talk to you about because you literally do everything under the sun. At least that's how I view
not
you.
True. I do artistic things. I don't do everything under the sun. I'm really bad at like chemistry and physics. I'm good with mechanics because part of my job I need to be good with mechanics, like understanding gravity, physics, but mechanical side of physics. But anything after like the 7th, 8th grade, I'm like, forget it. This is have to do with algebra, and I don't do algebra. My calculator
So
does algebra.
Yeah, I think about that.
That side
often.
of my brain is in process. It's developing now that my daughter is in 3rd grade, and I'm learning fractions with her.
How is that going?
Great. Which part?
How's it going with your kids? So
No,
you're
it
dealing with homework?
I'm dealing with we were homeschooled like hardcore, obviously, through pandemic, and that was first grade, second grade, I was the teacher. And so I have to study the material or at least understand and then teach it to my daughter. And we did okay considering the situation we were in. However, towards like the end of pandemic last year, I would say like January, she said, "Mom, I don't want you to be my teacher
Why not?
in anything," because I was teaching her homeschool, like all the subjects, and Nevin too. He's more the science, the math. He's really thriving and he's great in that. So he would do all the science stuff, but she doesn't really get to do that much science. Some science, but like all the nitty gritty, like, all right, let's go over the syllables, let's go over the grammar. Me, right? The second language is English. And we go in over like, all right, there comes the multiplications and da 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 da. Like sort of had to do that.
How did you take care of your self-care during the last couple of years?
Terrible,
Yeah.
terrible example of self-care. A lot of alcohol.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. And to the point where we cannot let our Sauvignon Blanc by Coppola. Eventually, they will sponsor the show.
Oh, yes. Coppola, if you're listening.
Yeah, gotta plug them in. Lovely, lovely winery, by the way, right? I'd mentioned to you.
Oh, my God. I can't wait to check it out.
Next time,
I only went to Trefethen when I was in Napa.
go
which
to
was
all
really
of them.
lovely.
Don't
I
have to drink
know.
at them all. That's what the thing. You go there, you think you're gonna drink there, but you don't need to. So the self-care was I tried. I became kind of like a whiskey scotch connoisseur. To the point where I finally have now my whiskey palate, and I realize
Really?
I don't like blends, and I like single malt scotches. Those are my favorites.
Why is that? Because a lot of people like blends because they can be smoother.
I don't know. That's just what
S-
I've discovered.
so
But
you
my
like the
point is,
peaty?
I was trying to getting to is that imagine how much whiskeys and scotches and brandies had to be partaken in to finally narrow it down to, oh, this is what I'm in. This is my pocket. So the self-care
How did you
was
do that? Just like purchasing different bottles and be like, I'm gonna try this one this time.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you like ever go to like any tastings or anything to kind of get a vibe for breaking it down?
We did a little bit once things started opening up, but when things were super closed, no, just go to different stores and try them.
That's so cool. I remember when I used to see you more often. You
Yeah.
were very into the wine. I like didn't know
I
that you were
was
into
really-
you weren't into the scotch back then.
No, I was really into the wines when we met. And then I realized that wines actually tend to give me a lot of headache. I think it's the sulfite. And then I'm a little bit more allergic to wines, comes again with, I'm like, why do I feel like this? Oh, because and I realized like if I have a good quality scotch or brandy, some brandies,
I
like
don't know anything about brandy.
you'll get there.
Okay. Thank you for your faith in me.
Yeah, like Four Roses is a good one. It's not a scotch, but it's a good one. That the next day I have less of a headache. I have less of the hangover thing.
That's important. That's a big
You
turning
you
point.
kind of realize, oh, certain alcohols do certain things to you. And then I kind of went back into the OJ where I'm from, the vodkas.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a couple of my favorite ones too. But here's the thing. It sounds like I'm an alcoholic, and it's actually not a laughing matter for me because my grandfather passed away from alcoholism, and my dad was an alcoholic, like a working alcoholic for a very long time until he just stopped cold turkey for various reasons. I was like, this is probably not a good trend. So then I was like, okay, I'm starting to enjoy this a little too much. And the thing is as well with alcohol, and try it out next time, any alcohol, when you drink some kind of whatever alcohol it is, and you're in a good mood and you're having a great time, you're with friends, you do it for celebratory reasons, you actually it kind of goes smoother, and the next day you're like, I had such a great time, it was fine. But when you are mildly depressed, sad,
It's only going to push you
it's
further
only gonna
there.
go worse.
Yeah.
And in the pandemic thing, I was like going towards the route of slightly depressed. So I don't think I was depressed. I mean, I don't have a diagnosis, but I was going
Understandable,
to
though.
like, what is going on with my world? Like, who am I? What am I doing here? What is this? Is this only thing I get to do? Is like, am I this now? Like, it took me to kind of reevaluate, as I think I would say with many people, to reevaluate what is actually more important to me. What are my priorities? What's important to me as Anna, the spirit, the soul of Anna, not just, oh, well, you should be doing this, or well, you should do this, and I should be doing this. So it's like, no, but what do I need to do? What is me, myself, actually craves and has to do? I have to do this. Not like, I should do this. Like the shoulds, I'm seriously like right now, I'm in the place in my life where I'm like a teenager, where you tell me, you have to do this. I go, nope. And I go the opposite direction.
There is a little saying that I've heard every now and again. And for all of you that are confused as to why there's an ice tray, what does ice and everything in life require?
So
patience.
I'm patience. Yes. Oh.
Oh. See, it's gonna pop out now.
Anything.
Very good.
It takes an elephant like a year to gestate that elephant baby, you know? I'm talking about a few minutes of ice here. I can wait.
Very patient. Very good.
Yeah, but that's a trick
get that off your hands
I'm doing now. So it's a little bit droplets here. There's a little trick that I've learned, because I did realize that consuming wine gives me a little bit of a headache, and it gives me a little bit of like a allergic kind of feeling. I don't know. Can't say. Everybody probably experiences
allergic,
it.
like itchy, or just the
just
like the hangover's more extreme than like anything else.
A little bit, yes. So I'm blending it with ice, so a little bit less poison this way.
A little bit. Just dilute the poison.
Dilute the poison, keep the fun. So should we move on from the alcoholism?
No, so good. You're awesome. I'm like overwhelmed to see you. I haven't seen you in years.
I know,
in
literally
person.
in years.
In a really long time. So I'm so happy you're here.
Me too. Finally, and it took us like only about 6 months for me to get here, right?
Just about.
Yes.
Life is crazy. The pandemic's crazy.
Life is life.
Life is life.
Yes.
Can you tell our listeners a little bit about, and you can share as much or as little as you want.
Well, like as you tell, I'm sharing a lot.
No, it's great. I fucking love it. It's amazing. Yes. Can you tell our listeners, like, what has gotten you to where you are? Tell us a little bit about your journey, like the highlights, whatever you want to share.
Which part?
Well, she was born in Russia,
yes.
And you moved here when you were 17.
Correct. You read my biography.
Oh,
I'm
impressed. I did.
I'm impressed.
What are some of the things, like the standout moments that have led you to the career that you have, the life that you currently have? What stands out to you the most? By the way, before you start, I heard the most beautiful thing recently.
Yes, tell me.
I heard that you can really only connect, and it's so true, the dots looking backwards. You can't connect the dots looking forward.
Of course.
So what are the dots that you look at?
Well, I mean, unless you're like a psychic or something.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Or like a tarot card reader. Or
but
one
I
of
think
those
a lot of the time,
professions.
because people have goals, they're like looking at their future, like, how is this going to happen? How am I going to make this work? Like, you don't know. We don't know. Just have faith, I guess, that you're going to figure it out.
Well, you plan it, but then you kind of leave it up to God to be like, okay, I'd love to get there this way, but whichever way I get there, I would like to end up there.
Totally.
Or kind of somewhere there.
So, like, the dots are what kind of fascinate me. Is, like, what are the dots that stand out to you when you look back connecting them?
Well, the dots that stand up to me are, my both parents were professional ballroom dancers. And I kind of grew up in that whole environment. So to me, the dancing was very natural, very kind of like, like the circus family. Hey, join the circus when you're young, right? Or whichever. They have those family of doctors where the mom is a doctor, the dad's a doctor, the grandfather's a doctor, and they all kind of, it's just easy kind of to fall into. And I did that very easily and naturally. There was not a lot of resistance from me, again, because it felt so natural. Felt like, well, that's just part of life, right? Ballroom dancing, of course. So, in that sense, that was probably the first dot. Always is, right? Our parents are the first connection to this
Yeah.
world. So they are always the first dot. And then there was another dot right around age 10 where I did actually take a break from dancing for a whole year. A whole year. So much time.
I'm sure it felt that way.
But for a 10-year-old, it's a lot. And then I realized that I really miss it, and I miss the community, and I miss the friends, and I really, it's going to sound very strange. Maybe not. I've experienced my first breakup feeling, that feeling of a breakup at age like 9, about to turn 10. It's because I was dancing with this boy for 3 years. And not that I liked him, but I liked him. He was a cute boy. He was very good at dancing. And then he moved to another school, and that school was like super smart kids that do really, really well in math.
Mhm.
There must be like a math gymnasium, like a
Oh,
like
okay.
a mathnasium type of level of like, ooh. And he was also doing competitive gymnastics
Oh, wow.
as well as dancing. And his parents said, well, it's too much. Like, he's gonna go to the school that is extremely, has a lot of, and he's right around 9, 10. Right, kind of during that time, that's when you start getting more homework and stuff, right? So he had to quit, or his parents said, okay, you're gonna stop dancing and you move on. And then we were so successful together with him dancing wise, and I think we got along pretty well. He was like my buddy, right? Because I'm an only child from my mom. So I grew up an only child. So he was kind of like my buddy, and he was like my somebody that I see 3 times a week, and we go to competitions together and we hang out. He was
Kind of like a permanent fixture in your life.
right, kind of like a friend, like how a boyfriend can be,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't really particularly maybe love this person, but I do like them. I like
Mhm.
hanging out with them. And then you can't like just drop them. And then he quit, and I was so sad. I really grieved it.
I imagine.
I had to like take a year off just to grieve the loss of this partnership. I mean, it sounds nuts,
No, it doesn't.
but was a very strong sensation and awareness in me at that age. It was like between 9 and 10. My birthday is the end of December, so I'm it's always like, kind of school year, middle of a school year. And right at the beginning of the school year, that's when his parents said, okay, we're done. And I had to kind of go over that. And once I was over him, it sounds silly, but
It
it's
doesn't
true.
sound silly because when you get close to someone like that and you spend all that time and
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
like close proximity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And like you hang out, you play, you this and that, and then I started dancing again, and I've never seen that boy since.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like know where he is or like what
I
became
have
of
no
him?
idea.
Wow.
I have no idea. He left into the abyss for me.
That's crazy.
So that was a big dot.
Yeah.
But that dot led me to the next dot, which is like, no, I do actually want to dance, and not just because of him and hanging out with him and because he's so good and it's so fun. I actually do want to dance, and I do like my friends. And then right around 14, again to do with dancing. Not a lot of school, right? Not a lot about school.
Did dance
some.
was that your primary like form of like joy, particularly at that age?
I would say so. Yeah, I'd say until about high school. And then high school was a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
A little bit more like oh wait, there's life outside of dance studio. Oh, it's fun.
They're boys.
There are boys and there are like dance parties. And back then in Russia, they didn't ID. You could go to a club. You could
Really?
be 15 and buy yourself a drink. They'll never ask you.
Wow.
Even though the legal age technically was and still is 18, nobody asks.
No one.
I mean,
cares.
as long as you don't look like a 10-year-old, they're like, well, she could be 18 and put some makeup on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the high school, me and my girlfriends, we did go clubbing, but it was also just mostly hanging out and having fun and dance. We just loved hanging out and dancing versus drinking. Like we were never doing stupid things. We always had pretty good sense of self-preservation. We always stuck together. And that is, of course, because we didn't drive. Oh, and the legal age of driving in Russia is 18 as well.
Really?
Yes. So the
Interesting.
drinking and the driving in Russia is like
Same time.
same time. So we couldn't drive, so we had to take public transportation, and we had to, take like the last bus to get to that nightclub because it opens like at 10 p.m. And then we have to wait for the first bus or first tram or whatever this to go back to our neighborhood, Mova. Yeah. Because this was more the center of a town. We had to, so we had to commute. It was like 5:30 a.m. So we had to, like in the winter, mind you, hang out because the club would close like at 4 or 5, 4:30. So we had to like hang out somewhere for 30 minutes to an hour and wait for our first public transportation vehicle.
Wow.
I know, fun times.
Would your parents know that you were out doing this?
He probably.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom and my stepdad at the time, they actually moved to US. So I lived with my grandma. So they kind of weren't there. But yeah, now I'm like, how did anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But so these were connecting points. And then obviously after I graduated high school, moving to the United States was a huge fat dot. Kind of like, whoa, what is this place? And not anywhere but New York City. I moved from my hometown in Russia to New York City, like
Big change.
like
Drastic change.
literally like another planet.
Yeah.
Both the culture, but also I remember walking around with these tall buildings, and I was just like, oh my God, I feel like I'm on the movie set. It didn't feel real. It felt like
Yeah.
a movie set, right?
I can imagine because I'm sure you watched like all these movies.
Yes,
That took
it's all
place
about
in
New York. And New York, things happen in New York, and things blow up in New York. Whatever.
There's a big, dance scene in New York, and so I'm sure you were like,
West Side Story, and all sorts of things about 42nd Street, and all these old glam Hollywood musicals were also a lot of them about New York. So this was kind of like, oh my gosh, and like going to Broadway, and literally this is where all of these things are made. It was quite a big dot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what finally got you out to LA?
Well, so I lived after New York. I lived in San Jose, California for 8 years. I was very successful there as a dance teacher and as a competitive Latin dancer. I was doing my thing, made the U.S. final at the time, won a few championships and stuff like that.
No big deal.
No big deal. Just here. No, but it's it's a big deal, but it's also a process. It took me there. It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of hours, commitment. Like anything, everything takes work and time. Like even with the ice, like
Patience.
takes time, patience, but also a little bit of work.
Cracking it.
A little bit, like you got to work it a bit. So that said, Dancing with the Stars showed up on the scene in the United States, and they called, I want to say, 20 or 30 couples as a boy and a girl, right? Because that's how we pair in ballroom dancing. We were, at least. Now it's all changing a little bit. And asked all these top level finalists and professionals whether they wanted to be on the show, and most of them said no.
Interesting.
Yes. They said, no, this is silly. You're going to be making fun of us. It's ridiculous. We are serious competitors. We are serious professionals. We're serious like people. Just the phrase of it is kind of ironic. We are serious ballroom dancers. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of silly, right? So they said no, but me and at the time my husband, my ex-husband, now he's ex, used to be a husband, Jonathan Roberts, we both said this is kind of fun, this is kind of interesting. Let's go check it out. We just wanted to try something different on the whim. And we did, and he actually got picked up for season 1, and I got picked up on season 1, but halfway through the training, my celebrity backed off. So I kind of got stuck in LA, just hanging out in LA, doing nothing really, just going to the pool. And that's kind of started evolving. But for the longest time, I did Dance with the Stars, and I would commute, and I still lived in San Jose.
Really?
And for the season of Dancing with the Stars, they would house me in West Hollywood, like some of the apartment complexes there near CBS. And then for the off season, I would go back to San Jose, teach my students, still would compete, still did like the whole ballroom thing. Never really said, okay, that's it. I'm a Hollywood star now. I'm saying for good, see ya, ballroom dance world. Never felt that. Never felt like it was the right thing for me to do. I always wanted to keep that one foot in that door. Yeah. And moving to LA was actually, again, my mom. She said, hey, I want to open a dance studio. Would you do it with me? And I said at the time, I'm really not interested in opening the dance studio. And she said, I understand that's where you are in your life now, and that's okay. But in 5-10 years, you might think otherwise. And I'm glad that she persuaded me. She said, listen, I'm going to be running it, but I need your visibility. I need your, I need an investor as well. And we did. So we had that studio, gosh, over 12 years now.
Wow.
We have it. We had it for 12 years. I guess that's how you say it.
Wow.
Yay.
And so you feel like it was a really good decision to jump into that.
Well, it was kind of one of those decisions that happen on the way where you go, oh, sure, why not? A lot of my, funny enough, the big fat dots, a lot of these decisions were made sort of on the whim almost. Like, yeah, that'd be fun. Sure, why not? Not like through agony, like to be or not to be, like not like that.
That's the question, but it's not.
Yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
It was always like, yeah, sure, why not? Give it a shot.
Do you think
See what
that
happens
kind
out
of
of it.
like attitude, that kind of curiosity and kind of flexibility is why, you've had like the longevity with your business and like in your like film and dance career? Do you think it's has a lot to do with that mindset of kind of
adaptivity? I think that's the word.
Adaptivity. That is
to be
yes.
adaptable to the situation and seeing the silver lining and seeing the good and the bad in the situation and going, you know what? That seems like more good stuff, so I'll go there. I see that there might be some bad stuff, and that's the thing though, because for me, a lot of the times when I go into analysis of the situation, like a lot, like people say, how to make these major life decisions. They say you need to break it down, put the plus on one side, put the minus on the other side, and you really have to put all the positives about this situation, about this decision, and all the negatives about this decision. And for me, they almost come down to even. So then I'm like, well, what the heck?
Yeah.
There's 5 of this and there's 5 of that. What am I supposed to make? It's not a formula. For me, it's not a formula.
It's your gut?
It's my gut. It's always good to put that down to kind of know, well, these bad things could happen, or these minuses or negatives or whatever you think they are negatives now, but they actually might not even be. They might happen, but I'm okay with that. I'm willing to take the risk. And these pluses, oh, these are really fat pluses for me. And for me, they're so fat that they will outweigh any of the quote unquote bad stuff that might come out of it.
Yeah.
So gut, yeah, big time.
That's so important. I love that you seem very settled in who you are and what you
I'm
want from
working
your
on
life.
it.
You really just exude that.
Oh, thank
What are
you.
you doing to work on that?
Everything. Cheers.
Cheers.
And cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
What are you having? What are you taking? I want to take that. Let's see.
I mean,
You want me to name everything?
whatever you're comfortable with.
I'm comfortable. So I go to therapy.
Me too.
Yay to therapy.
Yay, therapy.
I actually started. I have gone to therapy, like on occasion, but I realized over the past, thank you pandemic, thank you COVID-19 situation, I realized that it's not. Oh, sometimes I need to eat healthy. Do you know what I mean?
It's the consistency.
It's the consistency. The issue arises, sort out the issue. The issue arises, sort out the issue. It's like maintenance. It's like changing oil in your car. It's like
it's the gym for your brain and your emotional
and your
life.
soul and your psyche and your mind. It's a gym. It's a continuous maintenance for your psyche.
Yeah.
We go to workout, gym, Pilates, yoga, which is whatever you choose, right? There's a consistency in everything. And when you keep things consistent, that's why a good idea to go get a physical done once a year.
Yeah.
Good idea to go do teeth cleaning once every 6 months to once every 3 months, whatever. I try to do more or less, because then you're like, oh, shoot, now I have to do this, and that, right?
Because if you missed it, there could be a problem that develops.
So it's like that with everything. Same thing with therapy. It's not about, well, I did that. I've done that. I'm fine now.
I am fine. I notice that when I don't want to go on like the days that I have like a therapy appointment set, and I'm just like, I don't really feel like it today. And I'm like borderline about to be like, those are the days
that
I have to go.
Is a good thing for, yeah, because our inner child is like, well, I don't want to go over that pain again or go through that PTSD again. It was painful. I don't want to feel that pain again. I don't want to deal with my issues.
I'm sick of myself. I don't want to hear myself talk.
I don't want to do that. I just want to go and have a wine and go under my blanket and just like lay it out.
You sound exactly like me. I don't want to. I got my weighted blanket.
You know what? It's our inner child. It makes sense because we got hurt before. Our self-preservation skills are very strong. So we got burned before. Now forever in us, it's ingrained that this particular topic will cause us pain, and we don't want to experience that pain again, because why would you want to step on the same nail again?
Yeah,
it's logical.
100%. That's so crucial. I love that you're open about that, and
yeah, of course.
And going to therapy, like in my experience at least, if I go work out at the gym, I never regret a workout. Same with therapy. I never say, oh, I really shouldn't have done that session. No, you're always going to feel better.
Yeah.
After you do something that's good for you.
Yes, absolutely. It will give you a release, or will give you an insight.
Yep.
There's going to be something at the end of that yucky feeling place. Sometimes I call it going under, like you're going under the murky water.
Yeah.
And it's such a scary feeling because you don't see where you're going, and you're going under the water and like, how am I going to breathe? But then you always come out of it. So it's have a bit of that bravery to go, I'm going to go through the gauntlet. I'm going to go to that deep, murky water, and I will allow myself to experience this excruciating pain on purpose. Which actually, I have to say, my first real connection with therapy, it's going to sound so cliche, was acting classes that you and I went to.
Yeah.
Because like I said, before that, I went to therapy, but it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, what is this? My first introduction to anything psychology was sports psychology.
Interesting.
Because I took some lessons. I read a little bit something about like psychology, but sports related psychology. How to get ready for your event, how to manage that stress, how to what
When
to
did
do.
you start to dive into that
I'd say my
area?
mid-20s, like 22, 23.
But you've already been an athlete at that point
yeah, but I
for
was
a
a
long
total,
time.
but I was a total mess. But it was a total mess. It was like a I was like a bipolar athlete. I was like I'm winning. Yes, I am at the top of the world. I'm at such a high. I lost. Oh my God, my life is over. That's it. I'm not good enough. I'm terrible. Life is over. Why am I even doing this? Da 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 da. It's kind of like so messed up, right? In a way. That's
And-
why we said. That's why you and I joked about recording this. How our brain doesn't stop developing until 25 years old.
Yeah.
And if in our early 20s or late teens, somebody said, "Guys, you're still like kind of half-witted still."
You're young. You're young.
No, but it's not about young, because when somebody says is young, then a young person would say, "Well, I'm not.
I'm mature.
Don't validate me. We all want to be validated, whether we are 5 or 95. We all want to be validated. That's fine. It's more about knowing where you are. It's like, hey, it's just where we are right now. That's what's happening. So, and also because I was such a fierce and committed competitor, I had a lot of my own personal value connected to my achievements. And that is messed up.
Did you?
Don't ever do that. That's bullshit.
That is definitely like a pit that a lot of artists and performers fall
Yes.
into.
Correct.
Because a lot of the times it's their passion, it's their drive
Yeah.
in life, and so it's hard not
Inspiration,
to
their
tie
energy.
it. Yeah, it's like their spirit, their soul
Yeah.
that they're trying to express, and so like
Yeah.
any negative feedback they're going to take as a personal
Correct.
affront. So
Which I did as a professional ballroom Latin dancer. I did a lot of that.
and what I think is interesting, because you also got into acting right around that time, right?
Yeah. I would say around 27, 28, something like that.
And like
Late 20s.
did that, when you were like working that out, I'm sure that helped you a ton with like audition mentality,
Of course.
because a lot of the time when you're going out for roles and you like sometimes you get really attached to like what you're auditioning for, because you try to find the character and you love what you're doing, and
yeah.
it's like then not
Yeah.
hearing back, or
Yeah, I'm joking about it because I got into acting much later in okay. Cuz a lot of people in LA or really get into acting as kids or in their teens or in college. They all of a sudden discover, oh, this acting class is really fun. I want to go. So like really quite young, right? I mean, I got it. I was closer to 30 than I was to 20.
Yeah.
So I already had that 10-year, and I turned professional dancer, like legit professional at 19. So I already had almost a decade under my belt of this professional dancing competing business. So I've had my battle wounds from neglect from that. So I joked about auditions. Are like, I went through ballroom dancing circuit. I'm fine. I'm so prepared.
yeah, that's so I can imagine that
Yeah.
was super helpful for you.
Yeah, it was. That bit, yes.
In acting, I'm sure you've heard people talk about how, or in life in general too, a disconnect between your mind and your body. Do you know how like sometimes acting teachers will say you're not really in your body right now. You're
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
acting here up.
You acting like a talking head.
I certainly believe, correct me if I'm wrong, no one's
Mm.
giving you that note before, right?
I have, yes, I've heard that.
Really?
Note. Yes, of course.
Because I would imagine
Being
you're
a
like
dancer?
very grounded in how you move and connected to your
Well,
body.
see, the thing is about dancers, and a lot of dancers, when they switch into acting, they overact.
Okay.
They overdo things because as a dancer, you're trained to tell a story, but through your body, like miming or like silent movies, like Charlie Chaplin type of
Just
stuff.
very expressive.
Very expressive and very like everything is such a freaking big deal.
Yeah.
very, very dramatic or very sad or very happy or, oh, it's like, it's literally like a black and white movie,
Yeah.
silent movie. So I got that note before where I would overact, but then it's not really real because then you're acting the outer shell. You're not really living through it. You're not
Internalizing it.
being, you're not acting from within out, inside out. You're acting outside in, and that's always fake. Trust me, girl. I still feel that. I still see it. I still see some of my auditions tapes, and I go, yeah, it looks fake.
No.
Oh, well. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna comment and say
Yeah.
you were on my favorite show of all the freaking time.
Oh, the newsroom. Oh, that was a good one. I'd say that's probably that is for sure, acting wise, that's my biggest.
I fucking love watching that episode where you're in it.
She is like portraying me as like freaking, I don't know, Sophia Loren, Marilyn Monroe, and Marlon Brando all together. And I'm not. Like, I've actually legitly acted in like a few things.
No, but like,
I've been
you're
on screen
so
a lot,
good. And we were partnered once. You're
Yes, we were.
always so good. You've always been like
Aw,
very
thank
connected, and you're
you.
very professionlike.
Well, that, yes.
I watch the
The
newsroom
professional
like
realm is, yes.
100%.
Thank you.
The I like watch newsroom as like a comfort show. And
It's a
so
good one.
I've watched so many episodes like
The
over
dialogue
and
is
over
so
again,
good.
and every time like I'm like, oh my god, Anna's in this one. I forgot, but like it's such a nice surprise every time. And you were fucking brilliant. You really
Aw.
were. What was it like doing Sorkin's material?
I really had to know my lines. In fact, I messed with the lines. Didn't say the right exact. Kind of said it, but not exact line to line. And
It
I
was so sassy. I loved it so much.
and thank you. And a lady came to me and said, "You said but, not and," or like stuff like that. Like really, like you had to be exactly like Aaron Sorkin. Aaron, sorry. See, that's what I'm saying. Like me acting is like it's like a
What are you talking
glorified hobby.
about? No.
But my point is, Aaron Sorkin stuff is kind of like Shakespeare. Like you have to know the exact,
There's a rhythm.
but you have to know the exact words.
Yeah.
You cannot improvise.
Yeah.
You have to. It's like, it's an and, not a but.
Yeah.
It's a if, not an so. You know, like these little tiny things or words. And there's a lot specific rhythm. You can't be sluggish. You have to have a specific da 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 da. Like you have to be quick.
100%. Like Shakespeare's like iambic pentameter da 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 da.
Yes, the
Sorkin.
cadence to it.
I had our mutual friend Matt Mancuso
Yes,
on the show. And
you did.
I did. Maddie's great.
Love him.
And he loves Sorkin as well. And he talks about, he's like, it sounds like a song. Like it's a specific song, his writing.
Yes, it is.
And everyone has to like stay on tune.
Yes,
in the
very
show.
true. You
Yeah.
have to be in that same tune. You cannot all of a sudden play like, why are you all of a sudden playing jazz piece? We are right now in symphony. You know what I mean? Like you can't. You have to be very and then the thing is, I think the good experience that I had in the audition was I came in and I did what I wanted to do. But when I read the description of a character, it was literally like, it just flowed, right? I go, oh, I know exactly who that lady is. I've seen her many, because I used to travel a lot. And of course, being from Russia, I used to travel to and from Russia a lot, both for competitions and training, but also to visit my family. Was my dad still there? And my grandparents used to live there. Now they have passed away. So I would go every 6 months, and I know this lady. Like I've been in the shoe of those people because she was the Aeroflot, which is the Russian Airlines ticket counter lady. I'm like, I know exactly what she's like, and because Nevin was filming it like at 10 p.m. because that
It was a self-tape?
It was a self-tape.
Cool. Okay.
I think it was a self. No, it wasn't a self tape. No, it wasn't. Actually, it was before pandemic, so it wasn't self tape. It was I had to come in.
But you probably rehearsed it with Nevin.
I've rehearsed it with Nevin like at 10 p.m. and he's like, "All right, read with me." And then I read it first. He's like, "Can you like what is that?" Like he kind of gave me some notes, and I was like, Hold a minute. I know this lady. I got this. I know who this is." And I just started being that lady. And he's like, "This is it. This is it. You got this. Exactly." And but then of course, the note he gave me, just don't do anything. Just do what you just did, just nothing, just less. Just do less.
Because they're wanting something so badly from you that you don't even have to try to stop them. Your words stop them enough.
The words stop them enough.
You're in control in that scene.
I'm in control of that scene, and I'm basically like, I'm the boss of the station.
Yep.
And who are you? But like,
so
I've been I've been in their shoe, so I was able to go, oh, the feeling that they're going through, what they're going through, their emergency, right? Their timing, their
urgency.
Their urgency is like, we have to get this, we have to get this, we have to. And the more block I give them, the better for them. Then they will have more urgency.
Yeah.
And so my job was essentially like a bouncer in the club, but just at the airline. You know what I mean? I had a very clear objective of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Trying to stop them, right? And then from there, it went on. I go, oh, and she does it in this way. And she doesn't give a complete about who they are, what they need. She sees millions of faces every single day. She's like, you're just another one.
Yeah. Everyone's going to think they're important.
There is not a lot of love, like, you know how you say that love you're supposed to feel when you say, I'm sorry. You know, like the love.
Like, no. Sorry.
No, I don't. Sorry, not
sorry.
sorry.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. So yeah. And once I sort of went, I know this lady. Okay, cool. And I went and I did the audition, and the next day I heard back. They said, you got it.
It's amazing. I love watching you on that
Thank
show.
you so much. But then it's funny because then after that I started getting all the auditions of the bitches, basically. All the auditions I had was a Russian bitch. And I'm like, well, I've been working so hard in my life to not be one and to be like a decent, empathetic human being, kind, somewhat. To be a good person, really. And I had to go back to class to our acting class teacher, Alyssa Milillo, to her class and say, okay, these are the auditions I get, and I'm really struggling to play like the bitch. And she's like, okay. So she gave me a very complicated bitch to play in that class just so that I could practice it. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Do you find that you have is your form of escape merely through dance, or did you also find it through your acting as well?
I don't know if acting is an escape. It's really kind of not.
For me, it is a little bit.
A little bit.
I love to dive into someone else's business that isn't mine, just for a minute. You know?
Yeah, I would say that acting isn't. The thing about acting for me is it's more of an exploration and curiosity, if anything. It's I mean, you could call it an escape, but it's more like, how would it be to be like that?
It's curiosity. That's
Curiosity.
Such a beautiful way to put it.
It's like, what would it feel if I dye my hair yellow? It's that. It's more like, what if I wear this hat? What if I put on this? Like, how would that feel like in that costume?
Yeah.
You know, which comes back to dancing, obviously, because, the amount of costumes that I wore in my life, girl,
Amazing.
So it's not escapism from me. I am me, almost, always. I'm still there. I'm just in a different
version of yourself.
Version of myself. So I wouldn't say that I'm like this actress that Method or like Daniel Day-Lewis, like that just can't. That's not for me. Or maybe it will be at some point, but not right now.
To each his own. Everyone has their own style and how they approach the work. So that's Awesome.
But I do love theater. I really do. I think I actually would enjoy acting in theater if I ever would get a chance to act in theater. So I just love theater. I love the being in front of live audience, in front of people.
There's something very electric about it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just love it. That energy, that liveness. It's nothing like it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I have a section on my show called Silly Questions to Take Super Seriously.
Let's do it.
And I don't know how silly of a question this is because
Silly
as
question
we know,
I
you're
need to take seriously?
yeah.
Oh.
When you're dancing, I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, that
Yes.
when you're on your own and around your family,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you dance every now and then. Is there what is the silliest dance move you do around your family?
the silliest dance move that I do? Oh, I do
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah.
I do them. I mean, I do Macarena all the time.
Yes.
Yes, I love that routine. What else did I do that's kind of silly? I do the Running Man.
The Running Man.
Yeah,
Can you moonwalk or floss?
I can moonwalk. Cannot floss. Can moonwalk for sure.
What is it about flossing that's hard? It's like the
Oh, I
coordination.
know.
I feel like you're graceful and coordinated.
I just think I don't want to be bothered with it. I kind of look at it and I go, this doesn't look attractive to me. So I don't put my effort into it. You know,
I like it.
No.
Oh my god! One of these days, I'm gonna kill to watch you moonwalking.
You know, I shimmy a lot. Like I
That's my move,
shimmy.
too.
I shimmy. I wiggle my bum a lot, like really fast.
Can you twerk?
I can twerk.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I can twerk.
You're gonna
I'm
have to
not.
teach me.
I'm not amazing at twerking again because I find that kind of like it's just isolating one particular big body part of it's like what's so interesting is not. I'm being a bit of a snob.
Do you like the shapes that you like create when you're dancing? You like using your entire body, head to toe?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more of an entire body mover. I guess.
Hell yeah! You're like I don't want to just. I
don't
mean,
wanna
it's great,
just
but,
like
there's
that
more.
one area. I was like, yeah, I have more. I have more. I have all this.
Do you like my attempt in my
Yes,
chair?
I like it. I like it.
So, before we get to the important and final question,
Yes.
where do our listeners follow you?
Ooh, you can follow me on Instagram at Trebunskaya and my Facebook page, Anna Trebunskaya. I also have Twitter at Trebunskaya or A Trebunskaya. I'm kind of everywhere a little bit. I have a TikTok page that's not active. I have some stuff that I put there through pandemic, but I don't know. I can't. Again, I guess too much. I cannot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have anything coming out soon or coming up?
I-
Any events?
I have events. I am going in 2 weeks. I'm going to Ocean City, New Jersey. Woo! To dance with Kiyo Motsepe. He's a South African prince, as I call him. My South African prince from Dancing with the Stars as well. And we're doing the show Motown with a twist.
That'll be amazing.
Lots of Motown music. I mean, it's all Motown music, which is fantastic. Like that era of music is like every song is just like
You find it really fun.
oh, so fun to dance to. It's so danceable, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
certain songs you listen to, you go, this is great. What do I do to this? It's a great song to listen to while I'm driving on like PCH, but to dance with it would be a stretch.
I love that.
But all that is great. And then a potential acting project, working on kind of finalizing the details to when and how and all that stuff.
That's so exciting.
And then, just choreographing a lot, working at my studio, keeping my choreography muscle, because it's also kind of a muscle, keeping that active and working it out as well as my acting muscle. I really want to work it more, but I don't, if that makes sense. Like I want to work it more, but then I go, but I'd rather do this. So
honestly, doing other things is also a big contributor.
Yes. I feel like going to therapy and really diving into psychology during pandemic was kind of such a big learning curve that I kind of go, I understand myself better. And once you understand yourself, you can go really take yourself away from the role and be like, okay, well, I would do this, but That's not me. What are they doing, right? Or how would I do it under the circumstances like that, right? Without really being hurtful to your own ego.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it does.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
There was a lot of words. It's a lot of words that meant nothing.
No. It was all beautiful and meaningful and insightful. And it all leads me to my final question,
Ooh.
which is,
Yeah, I know. You'll ask me that.
are you okay?
Am I okay? Yes and no.
All right. Let's hear it.
So I'm okay. It's always black and white, isn't it? It's always gray. It's shades of gray. It's never
50 of them?
I feel like there's more.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like if we really paying attention, there's like 150, 250. Like today, for example, I've had a really productive, good day. I received a book that I was really looking forward to read. It's called The Desire Factor. It's about manifesting your desires. Very excited to read it.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yep. Very excited about that. And then literally 10 minutes later, I find out that one of my students in San Jose, whom I taught when he was like 8, 9, 10 for 2 years straight, have passed away. And his funeral is on the 16th.
That's awful.
And it broke me down.
That's
It
really awful. I'm
completely
so
broke me down.
sorry.
I know. So when you ask me, are you okay? Am I okay? I am, but I'm not. But that's life, huh?
Yeah.
We all a little bit okay and we're a little bit not okay. So
I'm really sorry.
everybody's always going through it. Something they're going through it. They're going into the situation, out of situation. We all flowing, and I'm learning to accept things as they come and not like in the past I would probably I don't have time to think about it right now, and I would compartmentalize the fact that that really affected me. Also being a mother and now having my own son, and the boy's 25 and he just graduated from college, and at the beginning of his adult life, and I don't even know what happened because that bit I was a friend of mine that told me, she said, oh, give me a call, I'll tell you what happened. And I was like, I cannot right now. I will call you later. So I will call her eventually. But I allowed myself that moment in the car, and I broke down completely, sobbing, everything I felt for that boy. And I haven't seen him, I want to say 6 years. No?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But it's those things. And then, of course, on the way to you, I'm listening to a sermon that I missed from the church that I go to in LA, which is Mosaic. And pastor's talking about nearly losing their 6-month-old daughter. And he's talking about the whole thing. And again, broke me down because I'm still fresh of this losing essentially like my child, because he was my dance child. So that bit, not okay.
Yeah. Understandably
Talking to you, so okay.
Oh,
So
same.
okay.
This is the highlight of my day, is seeing you and your beautiful face and your wonderful energy.
Precious.
And I can't tell you how grateful I am that you
Thank
were
you.
like so open and honest and insightful.
Oh, thank you.
You're a gem.
It's age.
You literally look
Experiences.
the same, if not younger, than I remember you.
Thank
You
you.
look phenomenal.
It's less drinking actually and more water.
More water.
More
water
water.
is so crucial.
Water is everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's always in a yin and yang. It's always the black and white that mixes together. Like, have you seen those on Instagram, those paintings where they take paint, different types of paint, and then they move it and it all kind of blends together?
Yeah.
Like, that's life, right?
Yeah.
That's how life is.
They don't know what it's going to turn into.
They don't exactly, which is so fascinating. So every piece of that art, well, every piece of art is unique anyway. But literally, the art is happening right in front of your eyes. And I feel like that's life. You don't know how it's going to turn up. But it's your choice to add the blue and the yellow and the green and the orange and the purple and then maybe a little white in it. And then that's your choice, what you add to it. And then to move it is also your choice. But then after that, you don't know what's gonna happen. So there you go.
So gorgeous.
Yay.
Thank you for joining
You're
me
so
today. I'm so
welcome.
happy you did. And
Yes,
we will see you guys next time.
that's right.
Bye. This podcast was produced by Jason Crow and me, Pamela Portnoy, with music by Jordan Ross Weinhold. You can follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at No One's Okay, and please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. We love kind reviews. No One's Okay is also on YouTube, so if you want to see our faces, please subscribe to our channel. An extra special thank you goes out to Sean Moore, Claire Palmer, Jackson Palmer, Tiffany Haymoff, and Alexa Marie Anderson. This podcast was recorded at Soundworks Studios. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.